Welcome back to the Okie Show. This is episode 3. My name is Brian Gillen, your host, and I'm going to be talking with the filmmakers from Army of Frankenstein. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Welcome.
No, it's going good. It's going really good.
Good.
Thank you very much for having us. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you guys on board. We're going to be talking all sorts of things from the recent distribution through Blu-ray and all that, to some fun stories behind the scenes. And, and we're going to play a couple little games if you're okay with that. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds like fun.
Excellent. Before we move forward, words, I can talk. Before we go any farther, I have to give a shout out to the guy who designed the Okie Show's logo, Walking Stick Design. Using fun, clever ideas to make tangible graphic design solutions that work so that you can feel confident about doing business and not have to do graphic design. Go check him out at walkingstickdesign.com. So, Army of Frankensteins. First of all, let's introduce who all is here, since no one can see us. Who are you?
I'm Ryan Belgardt, and I wrote the screenplay and directed the movie.
Okay.
And was a producer, I guess, too. There wasn't really very many of us working on it that was at the core of it, so a lot of us had a lot of job titles, so we kind of did a lot of different things. But basically, director, producer, screenwriter.
Perfect.
Not everyone had a lot of roles. I'm Rachel McDonald, and I played Virginia, one of the nurses in the movie.
She was also the actual nurse on set, too.
Were you?
That was getting her.
Were you a better nurse than your screen nurse?
No. No.
Just in a similar... Someone find help!
That's where the acting comes in.
And you, sir?
I'm Andy Swanson, and I was a producer, and I helped write it, and I was the editor, helped edit it. I don't know. Like Ryan said, we all did a lot of different things. I held the boom for a lot of it,
Did
too.
you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fellow sound man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aluminum or carbon fiber?
I think the one we used...
Carbon fiber, isn't it?
I think the one that we used to use was aluminum.
Oh, really? See, we don't even know.
It's been a while.
It's
been a few years.
Whenever you talk.
Yeah. Yeah, my ears perk up. Yes, let's talk equipment. We can go spiral down that rabbit hole very quickly. But we won't, I promise. Okay, so first thing I would like for all of you to do. First of all, let me address my voice. I've been sick all week, so that's why I sound like I have been chewing marbles. It's actually, I'm aspiring to be the next Walter Cronkite or something. I don't know. Okay, so for our listeners that have not seen the movie and have no idea what we're talking about, I would like you guys to give me an elevator pitch of the movie. But here is the trick. You have to do it one at a time, where you say one sentence and then you say the next sentence.
Oh, this will be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll start. Army of Frankensteins is the story of...
A young man going back in time.
Who accidentally flips a switch.
That opens up a portal releasing...
Army of Frankensteins.
Dun, dun, dun. Eventually, I want like sound effects that I could just like hit like an actual radio show, like a fart sound or something.
Well, there's more to it. They then all go back in time into the Civil War.
I think you cheated on the rules there.
Oh, I thought we were done with that.
No, that's true. Like, we got like halfway through because it ended with that perfect period of Army of Frankenstein.
Like the end to me.
But there is more to the movie.
There's more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is?
Well, yeah. I mean, the portal gets open, the Army of Frankensteins is created, and then they all get sucked back into the Civil War days, where Frankenstein and Alan, who's played by Jordan Ferris, Christian Belgardt, my son, plays Igor, and John Ferguson, who is the local legend, Count Gregor.
Mm-hmm.
He plays. He's amazing, and he plays Dr. Finsky, who is a Dr. Frankenstein type guy. They all go back in time to fight in the Civil War. Or just be in the Civil War, and some of them fight, some of them die.
I wanted to talk to, and I mean, to you as well. You can definitely answer this as well. But I mean, what? This is a question for all of you guys. I'm gonna single you out.
Yeah.
No, not talking to you.
Don't you say a word.
This movie has garnered quite a bit of success, especially for a locally made film. What do you think is, if you could nail it down to one thing, why do you think that is?
I'm interested to hear what Andy thinks about this.
I think there's an audience for ridiculous premises. I mean, we've seen it with Sharknado.
Yeah.
And there are other movies, like you mentioned Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. There are movies that have such a ridiculous premise that you wonder how it could have ever gotten produced. And I think our movie has that quality to it, where it's just such a ridiculous idea that somebody thinks you see it on the shelves, and you're like, how did this get made? I have to see it.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, like, I was talking to the filmmakers from Electric Nostalgia, and we were talking about high concept films, like, because I encourage young students that are in film school and stuff a lot, research your favorite directors and see what their first movie was. The first movie. And for, like, Sam Raimi, it's Evil Dead. And of course, I can't come up with any other examples right now. But high concept seems to be a really, really great device to launch a directing career, or just to, I mean, like, when you have no money.
Yeah, that's really what it is. The thing is like, we had nothing going for us other than our concept and our title. That was it. We didn't have a big star to put in our movie. We didn't have a big budget to put in, some fantastic special effects, or, all we could really do to grab people's attention was come up with some kind of premise and title and concept that would make people look twice. Right. And that's all we really were focused on.
Was that in your rattling around in your head whenever you were creating the concept originally? Like,
yeah,
you need to come up with a sellable idea that the title alone, because truthfully, the title alone piques people's interest. Like, have you seen the movie Army of Frankensteins? I'm sorry, what?
It never occurred to me that it would be sellable. It wasn't about being sellable. Mm-hmm. Like, when we first started this project, we didn't know anything about distribution. We knew nothing about that side of the business at all. So it was more about, having an idea, and for once in my life going, that's actually maybe a good idea. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
such a good idea that you guys actually had a little bit of competition, because there was Army of Frankensteins, but then there was Frankenstein's Army.
Yeah, and you're right. So you have an idea, the light bulb kind of goes off, and you're like, wow, this might be something that's never been thought of yet. Right. Yeah. So you go and immediately start searching. Mm-hmm. And we searched, I searched for Army of Frankensteins to see what else had been done or if anyone had used it. Of course, the .com had not been taken, so that was a good sign. Yes! So I got the .com, and I found this movie called, at the time it was called Army of Frankenstein. And it was being produced overseas somewhere in Europe, and I couldn't find hardly anything about it other than it was being produced. It was kind of in development, limbo, and there was a little teaser trailer that had been done that was all in black and white, and really, like, it looked like an art house film. I didn't really understand what it was. Yeah. And so we sort of had to make a choice at that time. It was like, well, I found this other thing. Do we keep going? I even did, like, research on title copyright, and like, am I too close to this other title? Or are we going to get in trouble? But then I kind of found out that we could name our movie Spider-Man if we wanted to.
Spider-Man, the story of Frankenstein going back in time.
Right. But so the title wasn't really an issue, whether or not we were going to be in any kind of, like, violation or anything. But we just had to decide, do we want to be constantly compared to this other movie? But at the time, we didn't know. It wasn't until our script was finished that I started to see, like, the stills from the movie.
Yeah, it's a very different movie. Yeah. Like, it's almost like steampunk.
It is a lot different movie, and it has a lot bigger budget, and it had a lot more backing behind it, and it's done really well. And the director, Richard Raphorst, has actually been the first. It was really crazy because in Fangoria magazine, they're doing an interview with him about his movie, Frankenstein's Army, and the very last question was, have you heard about this rip-off movie, Army of Frankenstein?
Oh, that's
and he said, something like, hell yeah, I can't wait to see it, or something like that.
Oh, that's great.
And my first reaction was, dudes, we're in Fangoria.
Yeah. There is no negative publicity.
We made it.
Yeah, so that was, it turned out to be something that at first I was really worried about, but then later on I think was amazingly helpful, because the people that were looking at that movie inevitably found ours.
Yeah.
Too, so
That's a
so that was great.
clever benefit in disguise.
And it even helped, and I know we'll probably talk about distribution here in a minute, but it even played a big part, I think, when our Japanese distributor picked us up. They're the same distributor that does Frankenstein's Army.
Oh, really?
So over there in Japan,
They're just curving the market on all the Frankenstein.
well,
movies.
that's what happened. Over in Japan, the movie's called Human Weapon.
Okay.
In Japan, Frankenstein's Army is. So what they wanted to do was pick up. They didn't want our movie to be competition with their movie, so they picked up our movie too and called it Human Weapons. And they
What?
and they.
I was expecting it to at least be Weapon Human.
No, it was just an S. It's the only, and so even going so far as to contact me and ask me what my relationship is with Richard Rapphorst.
Yeah.
To which I just said, well, I mean, I don't really have one. We've talked twice on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
And but on the back of the DVD case for our Japanese release, it says, it's been translated, and it says, it's crazy because you've seen Human Centipede, you've seen Human Weapons, now see Human Weapon. Or no, other way. You've seen Human Centipede, Human Weapon, now see Human Weapons. So they're comparing us with Human Centipede and Frankenstein's Army.
That's fantastic.
And in the description it says that Richard and I collaborated to make a sister work of Frankenstein's Army, which is not true at all.
Not true at all. Yeah.
And so they're kind of like they were actually banking on the fact that they had Frankenstein's Army as well.
Right.
And which was it's just weird. And so any reaction or reviews I had seen in Japan after our movie came out there was like, well, I don't know why it's being marketed like this, because these movies literally have nothing.
Yeah, they're so. Japan. Classic Japan. And they changed the guy on the cover of the movie. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Rhett Terrell plays the soldier character who has the cannon arm. He's a brilliant actor. He's a freakishly handsome guy. It's like unreal how good looking this guy is. And they changed his face on the cover. They did, not you guys. They were just like, you know what? No. Why? Why did they do that?
I don't know. I mean, part of what we have to do is send them deliverables, and so we had to send them a lot of stuff. We had to send them, of course, the movie and the soundtrack and everything, but we also had to send them any artwork that we had. So we had a lot of pictures and things. We did photo shoots with all of our main actors, and we did one with Rhett where he's in that pose that you see on the cover. But the photo that we did was probably a little bit too out of focus or soft focus to have that clear of I mean, his face was like in the shadows, like Rhett's face was.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, we sent all that stuff over to him, and we got this back. We got this poster back, and
It looks like Clive Owen. Like it seriously looks like they replaced Rhett with Clive Owen, and Clive Owen's just like, okay.
Well, we saw it, and we were just like, first of all, we're like, that makes our movie look way better than it is. not the part with Rhett, not the part with Rhett, but everything else, like like all the balloons exploding and all that, like way more.
It really is a cool looking cover.
Yeah, well, we loved it.
Yeah.
But then we just said, I said to our sales agent, I said, that's not the guy in the movie. And he goes, look, man, he goes, just kind of be happy they used as much as they did of your artwork, because he was telling me stories about how the Japanese covers would he's like, we've done movies over there where they put a big clown face on the poster and there's no clown in the movie at all.
So there's that. Yeah. That's just a thing. That's so weird. I wonder if the guy even knows that he's on the cover of this movie.
He probably has no clue.
It's just like some random. It's not even an actor or a model. It's like some guy that was just trying to enjoy his coffee, and somebody took his picture and put him on.
Yeah. And then what happens? So then what happens later is I'm thinking, well, okay, this is just our Japanese version. So hopefully, when we do other versions for other territories, we can do different cover art. And no, they all liked it so much that they used a variation of it, or they used it.
Yeah.
And even to the point where when we finally got our American distribution, I was really excited about that one because I was like, okay, finally we'll get a chance to make
Yeah.
this right. And
Rhett can be back in the movie.
yeah. So they send me a proof, and I see the proof, and I just have to laugh out loud because not only is
You can't get rid of this guy.
now he's on there front and center, and Rachel is not on there at all anymore. They just erased Rachel for some reason. I'm sorry, I had nothing to do with
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that because I remember seeing the old poster and seeing I remember what it looked like. I never thought of that.
Yeah, they just took her off, and I was just like, wow. And so I wrote back and said to our sales agent, said, hey, look, I know this is a proof, but could we reshoot that angle? I mean, we have the costume, we have everything. Can we reshoot it and maybe get our real actor in there?
Yeah.
And then he said, oh no, it's too late. That's already the approved artwork. And I was like, oh, then. Okay, I thought you said you proof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Proof no, okay.
I'm gonna send you a proof/final version.
I think that's the big thing to take away from all that is that once it goes out of your hands and you sell your movie to a distributor, it's kind of like you can't do it. You're out of it's out of your hands at that point.
That's an interesting note for any aspiring filmmakers that are trying. I mean, because that's success is whenever you've made distribution and finally it's out there. The first step is getting it written. Second step is getting it made, and then the step that very few young filmmakers thinks about is getting the thing out there into the world.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through? Because I feel like I know some things. I know nothing about distribution,
Well, we didn't either.
and I'm secretly that's the only reason I had you guys come on the show so that you can give me your secrets, and I will create my own film called Army of Mummies.
Andy can take this, I'm sure. He's heard me tell it probably enough.
What was the question again?
What is
Andy,
the? I mean, so for instance, we'll use Electric Nostalgia as an example. They have a film that is done, and it's going to be going through the festival circuit, but they don't have distribution. How do you get that distribution?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of luck is a lot of it. I mean, we were really lucky. And I know Ryan was relentless on social media. He had our Facebook page we had posts every other day, if not every day. And I know that's a big part of it, but in the end, like somebody found our Facebook page and expressed interest. And I mean, that's kind of where it took off for us.
Right.
We did a teaser when we shot our movie. We did a teaser trailer that we put online, and we were still filming. So we had just kind of said, "Oh, well, we've got enough shots here where we can put together a little teaser. Let's throw this out there and see what happens." So we did our teaser trailer, and I think we put it out. I think Topless Robot picked it up first.
Yeah.
Then IO9 picked it up, which and they shared it, and they had a great headline. It was like it's actually awesome. It was all other artistic expression can stop because this movie is being made.
Right.
And
that's great.
Yeah, and so they're making fun of it, and it got shared around a lot. And we had put our movie up on IMDb, and so it was starting to get a little bit of buzz just based off of that, and positive and negative. I mean, people were thinking it was hilarious, and people were thinking it was the most horrible thing they'd ever seen, but they were talking about it, which I love that. And I think Galen found us on IMDb. I think.
Yeah.
And so Galen is our sales agent with Empress Road Pictures, and this is kind of where I'm going with this, is that when our trailer was out there, our teaser trailer was out there, our Facebook page was being updated a lot, we started getting sales agents contacting us, asking us, hey, is there anyone representing your movie?
Right.
And we had 4 or 5 of those guys contact us through our Facebook page or through IMDb, and I talked to a lot of those guys on the phone, and some of them seemed like they were very big companies. Right. They would be like, they were kind of like, hey, we're taking 60 movies to the American film market this November. I guess we could take you guys too.
Right.
And they're
like, how do you choose?
Yeah,
but especially when you're.
Well, we chose these guys because we felt like they had broken off from a bigger sales agency and started their own company, and so I felt like they really liked our movie a lot, and they were only going to take 4 or 5 movies to the American film market, and they wanted to take ours. And they, he was just really cool about it. I felt like he had our best interest in mind. I felt like we just kind of connected and bonded. And I just felt like these are the right guys for us because we are small, they are smaller, and I just don't feel. I felt like that if we signed with a really big agency, that we would just sort of be lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be,
Yeah.
you know. And if you ever have a chance to experience the American film market, it's like thousands of movies are being pitched to buyers from all over the world in literally the span of like 5 days or something. It's insane.
It's like an event that happens in LA, right?
Yeah.
So you guys flew out to LA, you had your product.
Well, our sales agent took the movie, and we went just because we wanted to experience it, and we didn't need to go. And in hindsight, we probably shouldn't have gone.
Right. Did you get any warnings about before the screening started?
Yeah, they had a theatrical screening set up for us, and so we were like, "Oh, how cool is this? Our world premiere is like, you know, Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yeah.
It's like amazing, you know." But our sales agent says, "Look, you know, you got maybe 20 interested buyers are going to be in there, and they're probably going to walk out after 10 minutes."
Right.
And I was like, what?
But there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
It's
right.
not because they're being mean. It's
Because they make their judgment in the first 10 minutes on whether or not they think it's something they want to
right.
pass on to their bosses.
They're
They
not
have, they
there.
have a
and that's-
long list of movies. to see.
Yeah. Well, and that's like if you're a young filmmaker and you experience people walking out or something like that's something to remember. Just like whenever you're screening screenplays, you're not going to read the whole freaking script. You're going to read the first 5-10 pages, and which is an important note to remember. If you don't lock them in within the first 5 or 10 minutes, then they're going to move on.
Yeah, that's exactly what we thought. And I made the big mistake, Andy and I and Josh all did, of sitting in the back row.
So you can get a perfect view of everyone.
We did. We watched every single person that was in there. No, I'm sorry. One person stayed and fell asleep.
Oh, man.
But everyone else walked out. And so after
And
the
your internal balloon just slowly...
yeah, right. And so it was the worst screening we've ever had, and it was also the movie wasn't finished. You know, it was about 85% or so finished at that point, maybe not even that much. So that was the first time we could see it and hear it with that big of a screen and that, you know, clear of sound.
Right.
And so we were like, oh man, this is rough. It's still so rough. There's still so much work to do on it. You know.
Did you instantly hate your sound mix?
Yeah, we hated everything. I mean,
Really?
yeah. I mean, there was so much. We just weren't finished with it. You know,
Yeah.
after that, we still spent 4 months working on it. After that, so,
Yeah. It revealed a lot of, you know, problems that we had to fix too, though,
Yeah.
which helped.
yeah. I would recommend if you get a chance, see like your 80% finished movie on a big screen at a theater, because like every single flaw will be perfect.
Oh, yeah. Perfectly defined.
Yeah, that's right.
There is something, I mean, like, because on the projects that I have produced, like, when you're locked in the editing room, you've seen it over and over and over again, you start kind of settling. You're like, well, this is great. This is a wonderful film. And then it's not until you actually are watching someone else watch it that you're like, oh, dear God.
Well, here's another thing to think about too. And you're right. You're so right about the first 10 minutes, and that's something we didn't know. You know, we were fortunately we do try to open the movie with like kind of a hook scene, but that first 10 minutes is likely what any buyer will watch. You know, and then make a decision. So that was really important. So when you're making a film or whatever, like you were saying, make sure that first 10 minutes like really pops. You know, as much as you can. It's really important.
That is kind of, it's always fun once you know the formula of screenwriting, and then you're watching movies, you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There's the low point. Now they're gonna save the day now.
Yeah, it's pretty formulaic, but you know, you can't, like when those guys are leaving, you can't like walk over to them and whisper to them and say, "Hey man, just wait 30 more minutes. There's an epic battle scene."
It's really great. Wait till Abraham Lincoln shows up. He's literally Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was a terrifying, horrifying experience there at the American film market. But then again, when we went back to talk to Galen, and he said, "Hey, that's totally cool. You know, the way they do it is they take their movies. They have a hotel room where all these buyers are set up by appointments to come through, and they watch all the trailers or whatever, and they just take screener discs of the ones they're interested in. And so after they did that, they showed it to hundreds of potential buyers all over the world, that was great. I mean, that's the people say sometimes sales agents can burn you or be a bad deal, but for us it was the only way to go because there was no way we were going to get our movie in front of anybody.
Right.
So with the sales agent having the relationship he had with the buyers, he's able to get it in front of people, and they're able to send us a kind of a spreadsheet that has every big movie studio you can think of on there, and then he gives like a status of like, well, they're reviewing it, or they've passed on it, or they're putting an offer in on it. So I mean, we literally had. Did you ever see any of those spreadsheets, Andy? Did I ever show you those?
Yeah.
They were just big. Basically, they're big, giant red papers.
Yeah.
With no's. Red means no, and we had like
Right.
hundreds of no's.
Here's your new daily dose of rejection. All mapped out in a perfect chart.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of wish I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
This many people don't like you.
we were still, even though those were coming in all the time, our agent was not down about it at all. He was like, look, it just takes one. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and we finally did. So Japan was the first one, and then Germany, and then the UK, and then we got China we had a small deal with them, and then what happened was as we were still in production with the movie, and this is before we went to AFM. No, this was after we went to AFM, but we were still finishing the movie and still trying to get it all finished up. Hadn't shown it anywhere or to anybody. Shout Factory contacts us on our Facebook page, and I was familiar with Shout Factory, and I was like, oh wow, this would be a perfect home for us. They're great. So they contacted us on our Facebook page and asked us if we had still had the rights for our domestic distribution, and then our sales agent did an amazing job of sort of negotiating the deal with Shout Factory, and then they were very cool about everything, and it took a long time because they have their ideas of when they want to put it out and their reasons for when they want to put it out, but we knew that we had our Shout Factory deal way before we could ever say it.
Yeah.
And so we had not played any festivals or anything, and as a matter of fact, I asked our agent if we could still play festivals, because that's one of the things we really wanted to do, was to go out and play.
So this is before it had even really actually premiered in front of a real audience.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, and it was before we had really even finished the movie. I mean, it wasn't really finished. So
That's just not ideal.
so,
That's really, I mean, like, that, from what I understand of, again, my knowledge of distribution is pretty limited, but from what I understand of it, that seems like a very rare thing. Because it seems like normally it goes through the festival circuit, you're living with your movie for years, and then finally at some point somebody sees it at a festival and they gives it.
I think it goes back to what Andy said, and I think this is the most important thing, is if you don't have Hollywood, if you don't have a superstar, if you don't have something like that to drive your story and your movie, you have to rely on your premise and your title. And like Andy said, to me, it's just like luck.
Yeah.
Like it was a lightning bolt that like struck that day, and we had this idea, and it just was. I mean,
And it brought Army of Frankensteins to life.
so pardon the dumb.
No, that was me.
But for real, I mean, the a lot of reviews about our movie even say, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but they're like, this is the kind of movie that I would see on the video shelf and buy it without ever hearing about it, because of the artwork, because of the title, and because of and
I feel like that there, like, yes, there is luck, but there is also somewhat of a formula to it. I've heard several pitches that are all drama based, and they're like wanting to do something very artistic and everything, but they have no budget, they have no star, and it's almost 100% guaranteed that those movies are never going to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that, because I've seen on the festival circuit so many fantastic movies that what you're talking about. That filmmakers from all over the place, in Oklahoma and everywhere, have made movies that are really powerful, or really emotional, or really personal, and I'll watch those movies and I'll go talk to the directors and the filmmakers and be like, man, I love that. I could never make a movie like that. I mean, you just poured yourself out onto the screen, and it's beautiful.
Well, and it's not fair, because the amount of talent and skill that goes into making a serious drama, or something that is a very artistic based, that is a level of skill that, I mean, I wish that I could even get a small scratch of that, but
I completely agree with you. I'm not here to say that those are bad movies or they shouldn't be made or anything like that. That's the last thing I'm saying. But I will say this, that from the distributors we talk to, from the sales agents we talk to, you're exactly right. Those types of movies, they're not interested in.
right. And it seems like the only way that those types of movies would be successful is if they have a star or some kind of name. That's why when you see movie posters, you see the names on those posters, unless it's like a high concept thing like Army of Frankensteins. You don't have any names on there.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was worried because I'd read an article that said, basically you can forget getting your movie on the shelves in big box stores if you don't have a star. And I read that article and I called our agent and said, hey, I'm kind of worried because I don't really know what Shout Factory's plan is, but do you think they'll be able to get it into stores? We don't have a name in our movie. And he's like, what are you talking about? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. That is the star.
Yeah.
It's Frankenstein.
Yeah. So again, we never really thought of it that way. Although, we were. I mean that. So again, it was sort of a lucky thing for us that we do have a star in our movie, and the kind of we talk about this in our movie sometimes that like John Wilkes Booth is in it, and Abraham Lincoln's in it, and Frankenstein is in it, and those are all characters that you don't have to spend any time explaining if they're good or bad.
People get it right away.
Yeah.
That's
so when John Wilkes Booth shows up, we don't have to give a backstory. He's just there and he's bad.
Yeah, we all know
Nobody
he's
cares.
the bad guy. Yeah.
So,
What was it like for you, Rachel, to now that it is in stores? What's it like to go to Walmart now, and you see it on the shelf,
I actually haven't.
or actually you don't because it's all sold out?
I think they're back in there now.
Yeah, but they were sold out for
They
a while.
were for a while. Here they were anyway.
Congratulations.
Actually, I had a lot of family members and friends asking for it. I'm just like, well, they just go in there. They're like,
Yeah.
no, we haven't seen it in there.
Really?
They were able to go to Amazon. Some family members were able to do that. But it's surreal. It's awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm just really glad that these guys even gave me the opportunity to be in this film because we started in 2012, and that's the year I just started acting. So, yeah, so I was like,
You landed in a movie that's
yes.
in Walmart.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in Walmart. It's Best Buy. Where else?
We just found it in Target, and
crazy.
we didn't know it was there. And someone took a picture and said, "Hey, I found it in Target." And that's the weird thing is that we don't know where it is. I mean, we don't. No one ever thinks to or bothers to call us and say, "Hey, by the way, your movie's going to be in Target."
Yeah.
we just see it there,
Yeah.
or whatever. And so that was really awesome. But really, almost anywhere you can get Blu-rays and DVDs, Hastings and FYE and the vintage stock, and I think pretty much anywhere you can get them. It's not on Redbox and not on Netflix yet, but who knows? I mean, it might be one day. It might turn up there.
So that's a really crazy thing. I mean, like, how does it make you guys feel to have no control over that? Like, it's completely out of your hands now. It's gone to the sales agent.
It's not bad. It's kind of nice.
You don't have, you don't have to worry about it. Finally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, and there's a lot said about minimum guarantees.
What is a minimum guarantee?
A minimum guarantee, or they call it an MG, is when you make a deal with a distributor, they give you, they can, if they want to, offer you a minimum amount up front. So it's basically an upfront payment,
Right.
for the rights to distribute your movie. And our sales agent would not entertain any deals that didn't include minimum guarantees.
Which is smart because, like, once they have your product that you spent years working on.
Well, that's what they work for. Is they represent us to the distributor to try to get that best minimum guarantees they can.
Yeah.
And so by doing that, what that does is it gives us peace of mind, knowing that, hey, we've already made some money. We were able to pay back our initial investors.
Right.
There are back end deals and there are other things that are going on, but we're not strictly relying on back end deals.
Right.
And especially internationally, it's very difficult to police those things.
Right. Oh my God.
So
yeah.
it's like to get China to give you the reports on how the movie is done over there. It's almost impossible to hold them or
Right.
to audit that or whatever. So really it's just that's why our agent has just always been like minimum guarantees.
Yeah.
Minimum guarantees. And
Well, and that's an interesting note to make for the listeners who are film students that, for anybody who gets into the film industry that wants to get rich and famous, I'm going to focus on rich. Let's talk about that. You have made a movie that is now in stores, that is international. Have you gotten rich?
no. I haven't made anything yet.
Right, and that is a really important point for young filmmakers to know. You are not going to make millions of dollars right away.
And we still might never make. What's really cool about it though is that the movie is out there now, and it will continue to be out there for years and years and years and years. So
Yeah.
There is a
Possible cult following?
Well, there is a Oh, that'd be cool. But there is a My point is that there is a possibility that it could start making us money once the distributor has paid all of their expenses back, and everything. And it costs a lot of money for them to print all the copies and send them all out everywhere. And there's buybacks we have to worry about where if Walmart doesn't sell all their copies, they basically sell them back to you.
Wow.
There's all this.
And then there's like, if you do make a profit, like you have to pay back your investors, and there's the budget of the money, the movie in the first place they have to pay back.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, I didn't really end up owning very much of it when it was all said and done because of percentages I would give away to people that worked on the movie for free or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that went on, and yeah, I mean, I haven't seen hardly anything yet, but I am very glad that the investors we paid them back. So. And that's really cool.
Good.
That's great because now they're ready to do another movie, and we're ready to amp up and do another movie. And that's really to me, that's the best thing that could have happened is that our investors that invested this first time are now on board to do it again, and that's the number one thing that I'm really excited about. You're exactly right. It's not. I think if you go into this whole deal thinking I'm going to become rich or famous or whatever, then I think that's definitely the wrong attitude.
Yeah.
I think the right attitude is more something like. Go into it with the idea that you're going to learn and get better and, try to have fun. Surround yourself with people that you enjoy working with, build those relationships and just kind of see where it takes you. And I always said from the beginning, it's like I enjoy the process of this. And someone asked me right up front, well, what's your plan for distribution with this movie? And I said, man, I have none. I can make a promise that we'll finish it, and I can promise that we'll have like a big party when it's finished.
Right.
But besides that, I have no idea what's going to happen. Because really, for me, this was like a student film. I had never attempted anything anywhere close to this before. So,
student film on steroids.
Well, the thing is about that is I waited. That's another thing. I talked to people who were like in their 20s, and they're like, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to do what you've done." And I'm like, "Man, I just turned 40,
right?
And I've been wanting to do these kind of things for a long time." And I've failed a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, leading up to the production of this, what did you do? Like, you have a video production company?
Yeah, Andy and I work at Boiling Point Media along with Josh McCamey, and so every single day we're basically making commercials or whatever. I never would have imagined though that all this time later we'd be here talking about it, or that it'd be on the store shelves. And that's kind of the question I have for Rachel is when we were doing this and we were in this, we put you in a hot air balloon basket with a Frankenstein monster. Did you ever for once think, what in the world am I doing?
Once I found out that you guys wove that basket yourselves, I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Seriously, I would show up to set every day thinking just excited about what have they done? What new have they done today?
What have they done?
But I was always just thinking, because you always promise us, you just said, I can't promise you guys where this is going to go, but I can promise you we'll finish this movie and we will have a viewing in a theater. So for me, that was my only expectation. You guys far exceeded that. So
we had Rachel come and audition, and the part she played was a nurse, a Civil War nurse, that has to talk Frankenstein into joining the North. And so there's a big kind of dramatic scene in the movie where she's sort of she at first calms him with her singing voice.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I can't sing. So
yeah. I think Age of Ultron, they stole that idea. Scarlett Johansson sings the Hulk down.
They stole that from us. Anyway, then she goes on to talk about how, she starts comparing the plight of a Frankenstein monster to the plight to slavery, And even as we were writing this, I was like, is this offensive, or is this am I treading on really dangerous waters here, And I was really nervous, when the actresses came into audition, that was the scene they auditioned with. Mm-hmm. So I was really kind of nervous to see how they would play it, and I didn't know if Rachel was going to just walk up and slap me or what.
Yeah. What the hell is this? That'd be the best audition ever. The actress just walks in, holds the script up, points at it, and then just smacks you across the face with the script.
Well, it wouldn't have surprised me. But she came in and I'll let you describe what you what you did when you came in.
Well, like I said before, I didn't know exactly how, because when you read the script, you're like, okay, well, it seems like I need to play this seriously, but at the same time, this is ridiculous. I'm a nurse in a basket with the with the monster. Like, how? Okay, so it was definitely different, and it was crazy because I was able to come in there. It was a little different. Like I said, I had just started acting, so I was really, really nervous, but they were great, and I was able to.
She's like a chameleon. She can look like anybody. She has all these different looks, and even one time, Andy, do you know the story? Maybe I don't know if I told you this or not, but in the film, she's got her hair straight, and she's wearing the frumpiest, like most unattractive nurse outfit that they make, and she's wearing that the whole movie, and then we're shooting for a few weeks or whatever. I mean, I know who Rachel is by that point.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around in Walmart and I hear this, Ryan. I look over and I'm like, who in the world? This is the most stunning woman is talking to me.
It's running towards you.
Yes. And I'm like, who is this? And she had her hair all up and she was dressed, real nicely and stuff. And she's like, I seriously still didn't understand. She was right in front of me and I still didn't know who it was. And she's like, it's Rachel. And I'm like, what?
I was like, well, maybe he doesn't remember. We're filming it.
What's weird too is that, and Andy and I, as Andy was editing the movie, and we were constantly looking at you guys, you became stars to us, because we lived with you and your performance for months and months and months and months after we had shot your parts, So it was weird because we were kind of starstruck. When I would see you later, or when I see Rhett later, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Rachel.
Right.
She's famous.
Star of that award-winning film Army of Frankensteins.
That I wrote.
And then you look in the mirror, my God, it's the director from Army of Frankensteins. He's an award-winning filmmaker. You've won an Emmy too, haven't you?
Yeah.
He's an Emmy award-winning filmmaker. Yeah.
But that was for the two movie guys thing we were talking about. But yeah, it's really amazing. How much time we spend just looking at the actors over and over and over and over and over as we're trying to put an edit together. So that's really funny.
That's awesome. Well, it's time to move on to the next segment. That segment of questions and whatnot. That was a horrible segue. The Okie Show is brought to you by Turtle Shells, the original mobile home. I'm still working on my sponsor list. Do you guys want to play some games?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a film and music podcast, but I like to change it up around the last 15 minutes or so and do some games, some little improv games. Let me preface it by saying I suck at improv. I just admire it. So suck at it with me, shall we? Okay. So this first game, we're just going to do a little warm up, and I'm sure you guys know this game. It's called Questions. Ryan and Andy, you guys are going to be sitting in the sales agent's office, and you're selling the movie to the sales agent, who's going to be played by Rachel. So the trick to this is that you can only communicate in questions.
Okay.
All right.
Including the sales agent?
Including the sales agent.
Okay.
So it'll be a very fruitful sales meeting.
Okay.
All right? We're going to start in 3, 2, 1.
Why are you in my office today?
Would you like to hear about a movie idea we have?
What's your movie idea?
Have you heard of the character Frankenstein?
What is a Frankenstein?
Is that a line in the movie?
Have you guys already wrote the movie?
It depends on what you mean by... Wait, that's not a question.
Ryan's out, now it's just the two of you. Oh, God. All right, we're down to Andy and Rachel. That was good. Continuing the meeting.
Why are you still in my office?
Oh, man, I'm out.
That was good.
See, that's why she's an actor.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. It's like,
I'm good at that.
it's like you do this for a living or something.
What are you doing here?
Okay, so we're going to play another game. This is one that I came up with, so I'm hoping that it'll work. So this is called Director's Disaster. And the way that this works is the director cannot shoot the scene because of a problem being explained by the first AD. So let's, Rachel, you are going to be our first AD.
Okay.
And you are presenting the issue to the director. This is kind of a play on Murphy's Law that absolutely rules every film set. So let's give him an interesting trait. Like something's wrong with him.
Do I get to think of it?
Yeah.
Do I
He's really, really allergic to animals.
You're super allergic to animals. And the first AD, what's wrong with the set?
A herd of cats is loose on set.
There's a herd of cats loose on set. In 3, 2, 1.
Ryan, we can't shoot this first scene. I know you're allergic to cats, so I regrettably have to tell you there is a herd of cats on set right now, and we can't get them to leave.
Okay. Can you? Scene.
Wow.
Shortest game. Well done. Okay.
When in doubt.
And it's Rhett's.
Should we answer it?
Answer the phone.
Oh no.
Oh no, we missed it.
Should I call him back?
Embarrassing amount of time prepping for it.
Do you think it went good?
Please stop. I'm gonna put this on silent. Yep.
Well, you got here just in time because we just started playing some games. You probably know absolutely nothing about this podcast. We talk about film, we talk about music, but then we also like to kind of tag it off with some improv games.
Okay.
We just played this game called Director's Disaster, but I want to play it again since you're here.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, let's make
on.
you were first AD last time, so let's make you the director, and then you are the first AD presenting the problem to her that's keeping you guys
Oh
from being able
shit.
to
So
roll.
okay, he changed a little bit.
So okay, let's find a problem. What's the problem?
Okay. The problem is, how about this? The first AD has been cast as the lead in a really big budget movie.
Ah, okay, that's a good one.
And he needs to leave like immediately.
Okay, which to bring the set to a grinding halt.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, think you got it?
No. But yeah. Let's do the thing.
All right, here we go.
Hey. Yeah.
Too many A's.
Risha. So, we're winding down. Everything's going good. By the way, I've got craft services coming in at 5 tomorrow. Everything's set up. Everything's good. Makeup. We lost Jana because she's moving on to the next project, but everything's supposed to be smooth for the last 3 or 4 days. The thing is, you know that I love this project.
What can
I
do
love
for
your
you,
vision.
Brent?
Okay. As you know, I'm an actor as well. I could not be more thankful for this job, the first AD. It's great. Being hands-on, being in the trenches,
Gotcha.
working with you. But I actually got I got a call from Supernatural. And so demon number 2, it really looks like I'm in. And I know we're supposed to go till the 13th, but I just thought maybe if the movie's basically done. And you did such a great job. It's so cool. And it's the stunt guys and the action stuff and the explosions. It's I need to go.
What do you mean you need to go? You need to go.
I got it. I obviously I don't have to go. I'm here because I'm committed to this in your dream, and I know that we've been 30
and
days.
We have this contract, so.
But like, to be fair, we're 30 days over what we were supposed to be done by. So when I did the audition, I thought I'd have, and I didn't have like this vacation, and my wife just had a it's fine.
Pause. Ryan, you're the executive producer, and you are $1 million in the hole, and you have just arrived on set to find out what's going on.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
Ryan,
hey, Ryan.
well, Brett has something very interesting he wants to tell you.
Well, I hope it's not going to stop production or slow it down because you're not going to believe this. just yesterday I had to put in an extra 500,000 just to keep us going.
An extra 5,000, you say?
500,000.
500,000.
Yeah,
Did you hear that right?
just to keep us going.
He just put an extra 500,000.
And I can't get it back.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like non-refundable.
Do you want to share your story now?
Well, I mean, it's not
I'm
even.
not sure that's how it works, by the way.
So, yeah, no, it's really not much of a story, Brian. I just, we've been going at this for. We were supposed to do it for 3 months. It's been almost a year. And I really believe in the Frankensteins are going to be great, and everything's
the fun
cool.
parts. Get to
But
the
that
fun
okay. But I mean, Rachel was saying she was cool with it.
Hey, look, Rhett, hold on. I know where you're going with this, and I want to tell you. I set this up. I made a call because of who I know and because of who I am, and I got you the part. It's Supernatural. And before you thank me, it's not because I think you're going to be great for that part. It's because you're doing a terrible job.
It's not great. Yeah. No, I'm with it. Let me ask you. Hold on real quick. Is the guy's face my face when it shows up? Hey, oh, thanks.
Callback,
and
that's a
stuff.
callback.
And if I'm gonna be 6 hours late, I'm coming in swinging, guys.
Okay, so I wanted to play a game. I was recently watching old clips. I am huge into Stephen Colbert. Have you been watching The Late Show lately?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. You guys, yeah, gotta watch The Late Show. Anyway, so Stephen Colbert was on Whose Line Is It Anyway a couple times. And they played this game that I had completely forgotten about that I would like to present to you today. And it's the dating game. Now, the way this works is that there is a lovely vixen who is going to be interviewing 3 contestants that are on the dating game. And but she doesn't know you. Everyone has a particular trait, or you are a particular character, but she is not aware of what those traits or characters are. So, Rachel, get out of here.
Okay.
We're gonna figure these out.
Get out of here.
Okay, so we got to come up with 3 characters for you guys to play.
Okay.
I would like to nominate Rhett to be a Shakespearean actor who cannot get out of character. Okay?
Terrible actor that can't. So yeah, it's good.
All right. Ryan, you are, you are deathly afraid of hair,
Okay.
and yet you have a beard on your face.
All right.
And Andy, you believe
I'll take my gun
that
out.
you are a swan. All right, let's bring Rachel back in.
Nice. Love it. I love it.
So, Rachel, you are the lovely vixen in this dating game, and you are asking your contestants different questions about them and why they would be the perfect match for you. And go.
Contestant number 1, tell me a little bit about yourself and why you would be a good match for me.
Well, first of all, do you have a lot of hair?
I would say average.
Average hair? Oh boy. Can you just move on to someone else?
Okay. Contestant number 2, describe your perfect date.
My wife
What?
convinced me.
Wait, did you say your wife?
My wife convinced me to slay my liege lord. The blood. Oh, dear God, the blood.
Sir, I think we're gonna go on and go ahead to
The witch.
contestant number 3.
It's probably good.
Contestant number 3. If you could describe yourself by a song, what would it be and why?
Honk, honk.
Is that your answer, or is
Honk.
All right, let's try this again. Contestant number 1. Could you describe yourself to me?
Sorry. You're doing great.
Describe yourself to me in 3 words.
Scared of hairbrushes. Is that 3 words?
No.
I feel like this phone. Like, yeah.
Okay. Contestant number 2. Who is your role model and why?
Banquo.
Who?
But I murdered him. Dear Lord Christ, I murdered him.
Contestant number 3.
The witches. Oh, no. Okay.
Contestant.
Tis a knife, a knife. Tis a knife. Out damn spot.
Contestant number 3. If you could pick anywhere to vacation, where would it be? And what would you like to do there?
I'd like to swim around in a pond. Honk.
Yeah, I like the lack of commitment quite a bit. Okay.
Contestant number 1. What is your favorite pastime?
Shaving things.
Okay.
You guys have a better punchline that I'm not thinking of?
Hey, man, you do your thing.
What is your favorite animal and why?
Say a lamb.
A lamb and why?
Blood. On my wife's hands. And my liege. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I lost the accent because I was trying to make fun of us. Yeah.
Contestant number 3. What is your favorite dish and why?
My diet mostly consists of fish and sometimes bugs.
Little piece of bread.
I really love pieces of bread, especially when people throw them
Okay.
to me.
Just give it away. Why
Nice.
not?
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna see.
So, Rachel, can you figure out what was wrong with contestant number 1?
I had a hair fetish.
Well,
Close.
close or
no.
complete opposite.
I was supposed to be deathly afraid of hair.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Contestant number 2.
I was supposed to be terrible at acting.
I was
So there's not that much of a difference, right? Yeah, it's like we're on set again. Yeah.
Contestant number 3. You're some kind of, you're an
Are
animal.
we jumping over my thing?
Oh, no, really,
that was
that's
a
what
joke.
that was my
Yeah,
guess.
it's good. Great. Oh.
She just called you a bad actor, Red.
Well, guys, I think we all know that I'm not
So
good.
I thought that's
Yeah, no, I dropped it because you you brought prepared notes.
What's wrong with him? Or who was he?
Was he?
They're whispering sweet nothings.
Shakespeare.
Oh, Macbeth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, guys,
Okay, but I think the most important
great.
one was what was Andy?
beautiful and brilliant.
A duck.
It was pretty close.
Whoa. He's the Macbeth of ducks. So what kind of duck is he?
The Affleck duck. I don't know.
Nice, done. No. I'm
He
good.
was supposed to be a swan, and the
Oh.
only reason why I came to that prompt for you is because of your shirt. You're wearing a Goose Island shirt, and I totally the first thought I had was swan, so I was like,
Guys.
yeah. So where can we? First of all, to reiterate, where can we buy Army of Frankensteins?
That's why I came late.
You can get it. You can get it at Walmart, Best Buy, Target, Amazon, Hastings, FYE.
What is your website, and where can we see your social media?
Well, you can do. What is it, Andy? Is Army of Frankensteins is .com. You can go there, armyofrankensteins.com, and that'll take you to.
If you can remember it.
Well, no, there's the Facebook one is just search for it on Facebook.
Hey man, you
it
do the
comes right
work.
up.
We're not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not here to tell you how to get something.
Are you
I mean,
guys
I think
on
just-
Twitter?
Twitter is AOF movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Friendster?
No.
Oh, okay.
Tinder, Grinder, my phone.
We are going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. Check out Army of Frankensteins at stores everywhere. Pretty much, if you look for it, you'll probably find it. You can also buy it on Amazon, iTunes, Xbox, and what else?
I think it's on PlayStation too. Andy, where else
Yeah.
have you seen it? It's
Voodoo, I think.
Voodoo, Google
Yeah.
Play, YouTube has a paid service. You can watch it on there too. So.
That's awesome. And hopefully Netflix soon. Army of Frankensteins. Check it out. It's everywhere, and it's fantastic. Guys, thank you again for coming on. This has been really fun.
Thanks a lot for having us.
All right, this is the Okie Show. Tune in next week. Find out who we're going to have on as a special guest, because I haven't booked him yet. Hey!
It's gonna be me.
It's Rhett!
Hey!
It's just you, like I'm not even here.
Clearly, you don't need me.
Now I'm sitting by myself and talking to myself. And that's chaos.
The Okie Show is a mostly harmless media podcast recorded at Tower Studios in Oklahoma City. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If you're a business or industry professional that would like to advertise on the podcast, email info@okieshowshow.com. Rates starting as low as $25.